Hello, this is Carl Plays Badly for video number 2. Uh, it's been 2 weeks since I posted my last video, or my first video. This will be number 2. I'm not sure how this one's going to look because I'm using a different tablet to record on. But I just want to test it out, so you'll just have to bear with it. If it looks shitty, don't watch it. If anybody watches it anyway. Actually, I think 39 people watched my last video, and fuck, what's wrong with them? Why would they subject themselves to that shit? But I digress. Let's see here. I just watched my last video and man, it was hard to watch. God damn, can you tell how fat my face is? I hated that. I hate looking like that, but oh well. Kind of like a bald, slightly darker Santa Claus, I guess. But anyway, I'm going to do a little more life story. This probably isn't going to be a real linear series. I'm going to end up jumping around a lot. I ended my last video talking about how the last time I lived with my mother and stepdad ended way back when I was in first grade. I gotta give you the other side of it. Yeah, I hated the town I lived in. I didn't really care that much for most of the people. But one thing, living with my grandparents, my adopted parents, they spoiled me. I mean, they spoiled me bad. If I wanted it, they got it for me. I know at Christmas time, we just opened up the Sears catalog. We used to have to look in a book, a catalog that had pictures and prices, and you had to order. I don't know if y'all remember that or not. But yeah, used to, we actually had to look in a book and like call somebody to order something. But anyway, they would give me the catalog and I would just circle everything I wanted, you know, and you're looking at like a $500 or $600 Christmas every year, at least. So yeah, I was really spoiled. Got everything I wanted. My grandmother was a little stricter than my grandfather. My grandfather could give in to anything. I had a secret trick I would use. We would go to the store, like Hastings or somewhere, and I would go in to buy something, and he'd give me the money and send me in. And so I'd go in there and I'd just start picking stuff up, and I'd just have, you know, like an armful of stuff, and I'd just wait. Usually after about 10 or 15 minutes, he'd come in and just be mad as hell and tell me to come on. And I'd be like, well, I can't make up my mind. I don't know what to get. He just looked at me and said, fuck it, get it all. So yeah, I'd say, well, yeah, get it all. Okay. So yeah, I was spoiled badly. Which is also kind of weird because I would go from that to back to my mother. Yeah, the first time I went to live with her was first grade. Finished first grade in Mount Enterprise after leaving my mom and stepdad. Spent the summer in Mount Enterprise. After a couple weeks of the next school year, second grade, I went back to my mother, back to where I had been abused. And it started again, right off the bat, you know. This time it was a little different. Well, no, that was the next time. I'm sorry, I got a little mixed up. No, I went back to my mother and just took it some more. You know, it was rough, but I dealt with it for about 3 or 4 months, 5 months maybe, before I got a hold of my grandmother again to come get me. And again, she came and got me, and I went back to Mount Enterprise and went back to school and went back to being spoiled and went back to being a total asshole to everybody at school, you know, my teachers and stuff. I didn't really, I was starting to get along better with some of the other kids, but like there was one kid that bullied the hell out of me, and for some reason he's the only kid I never fought back against. Not then anyway, I was a lot older before that happened. But yeah, I put up with that, and even if somebody wasn't my friend, I would hang out with them just because I'd get lonely. And luckily, I had grandparents that were really cool. Like if I went to a movie or anything, went to the zoo, the arcade, the mall, whatever I went to, they would always let me bring a friend. You know, and a lot of my friends didn't have anywhere close as much as I had, you know, financially and all that. So they wouldn't have money, so my grandparents would just pay for everything, you know, and that was really cool of them. A lot of parents won't do that. But, uh, yeah, so second grade, I went back to my mother, came back after I couldn't take the beatings anymore. But when I moved in, I guess the first time back in first grade, she had just gotten this puppy, uh, named it Ninja. It was a Doberman Pinscher. And, you know, she was pretty much grown by the time I moved out the second time. Back to Mount Enterprise, back to all the bullshit. Uh, then I went back to my mother in third grade. This time it was different. This is what I meant to get to before. This time Ninja was full grown, and she was a bad bitch. I mean, she was smart, she was beautiful, she was a great dog. My mother found out she couldn't beat me in front of that dog. Dog would just go after her, so she'd have to wait for my stepdad to get home and have him hold the dog, and she'd take me in the bathroom and do the beatings in there. And I guess she discovered she liked it because she could put me in the bathtub and turn on the water and the blood would just go down the drain, you know. Easy cleanup. Yeah, that was third grade, so, you know, that lasted for a while, 4 or 5 months, and I went back to Mount Enterprise. Finished out third grade, fourth grade started. I made it a few weeks before I went back to my mother and the abuse, and after, I don't know, I've been there a few months, and she gave me this one beating, and it was, wow, man, it was like probably the worst one, and I mean, it was really bad. I mean, pieces of a rose bush, you know, with the thorns and all that, and after that night, after she did it, it took me about 4 days to be able to sneak onto the phone and call my grandmother. And she came and got me again, but this time she didn't take me straight home. She took me to the hospital. And like I said, it's about 4 days after the beating. And I got to the hospital, and the doctor, he didn't know how I was, he told my grandmother he didn't know how I was walking, I mean, or functioning. I mean, she nearly beat me to death that time. And it was on a school night, and I went to school the next day. I went to school for 4 days after that, 3 days after that, you know, and then I finally got to call my grandmother on a Saturday. And I was nearly dead, and I was going to school because I was so scared of my mother of telling her that I was hurting her, that I couldn't go, because I knew what would happen. So, yeah, my grandmother took me to the hospital, and they told her all that, and she got me home, and she never let me move back in with my mother. That was the last time. So I had, so I didn't get no more breaks from Mount Enterprise. You know, I was still a bad student. I didn't do anything they told me. But in fourth grade, Texas law changed, and before they could put you in special ed, which my teachers liked to do, they had to give you an aptitude test, kind of. And they gave me a test on reading and reading comprehension, and I scored like on a fifth-year college level. I mean, I read a lot. That's all I did was read. So they couldn't put me back in the short classes anymore. Just the, I mean, in the special ed, so they had to leave me in regular school. And it was around, I think it was, you know, the beginning of the next school year, around fifth grade, we had a little fire in our trailer and we moved out. Well, actually, it was at the end of fourth grade. We moved into another house. But I remembered how to get into my old house, so the next school year in fifth grade, I started skipping school in my old house. I would break in and go in and sleep. And yeah, I would do that all the time. And if I couldn't do that, my grandfather sometimes would take me to school, and I would make myself sick. I'd gotten real good at it. To get out of school, I would throw up or or whatever I had to do to get them to send me home. And I got to where I'd wake up before everybody and I would eat a whole lot, then go back and act like I was still in bed, just so I could get sick, you know, in front of people whenever everybody else was awake. So yeah, that was kind of fucked up, and it kind of added to it not eating disorder, as you can tell, but it messed me up, you know, and it helped fuck up my grill, what I got left of it. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop this video here. Then I'm gonna record another one because I don't want these to be too long. Because if somebody does watch them, you know, you don't want to sit here for 30 minutes listening to me talk. So 10 minutes seems good. 11 minutes. I'm gonna stop this recording. Then I'm going to keep going. I'm gonna record another video, so I'll post 2 tonight. Yeah, because we're almost out of elementary school. Wait till we get to junior high, right? Okay, love y'all. Thanks. Have a good night.